And we're live on a very different Meta Lab this week. A lot of the guys our local guys decided that they weren't going to be able to show up this week, enjoying the Labor Day libations, we'll call it. So I had to use some ID cards and call in help. So we have, once again, from 2 Clicks from KO, we have Aaron.
Yo.
And joining us from Team Pushin, suggested highly by Kenny and a man I had a chance to meet at Canadian Nationals, we have Jason Kuhn. I don't know, do you prefer Sasquatch or Amber's nickname for you, Sexy Cowboy?
Whatever you want.
I don't think I can look you in the eye and call you Sexy Cowboy, so...
I'll take Sasquatch.
I don't know if you could. He's pretty tall. I've met Jason before. Got your YouTube audio playing.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot to hit mute on that again, and then it's embarrassing every time I do it. It's like, because it doesn't let you mute beforehand, technical issues. That said, don't forget, guys, we are brought to you in part by HC Realms. If you want to go shopping on their store site, check out realmsgaming.com. You can purchase some cool ROC-related stuff, HC Realms stuff. They have the T-shirts, the dice cups, sling bags, all kinds of neat stuff. If you use the coupon code MARRIED when you go shopping there, you get 10% off of your purchase, and that goes and part of that goes towards helping out the channel here. As well, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/marriedwithclicks, if you want to support us just directly and help make the channel a whole lot better. As we've said several times with regards to the Patreon, is a good thing to help. Changes nothing if we get nothing for it. So, this is the last month of Age of Ultron, and as I was doing my announcements for this week's tournaments in my area, it is month 4 all week this week for me. Have either of you guys had a chance to play in your month 4 events yet, or are you guys still waiting on them? Let's start with Aaron.
No, I haven't. I think I've only played in like 2 events total. I run 1 event, so I don't play in it. That event will be this Saturday coming. There was a month 4 yesterday, but that was in a different city. I haven't got a chance to play at yet. So I think one venue there behind the month. So I went to their month. It's where they did month 3, and then they're gonna do month 2, and then 4. So I played in the month 3. Last weekend. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Jason, have you had a chance to jump in on any month 4s yet, or?
Not yet. Playing in 2 at our home store, Highlander Games and Comics, and 1 over at Time Warp. Just haven't kicked it off yet. We've been helping Kenny get ready for the Rock in Atlanta and just kind of taking it easy for right now.
Which is actually probably going to be the next topic we talk about after we're done yapping about Age of Ultron stuff. So, since none of us have actually had a chance to partake of month 4 and probably have only at best seen glimpses of the Quinjet itself, I'm going to pull up the HC Realms entry for it right now.
I played against the Quinjet.
What's that?
I played against the Quinjet today.
Oh, you've played against it already, eh?
Yeah.
All right, so you've got a little bit of extra knowledge going into this discussion.
Yeah.
As far as what it does and how good or not so good it is. So, yeah. I'm pulling it up now for you guys to peruse, and we'll zoom in on it a bit. So, stats-wise, it comes in at either 140, which is the red line here, or 70 points, I believe it is, on the lower point value. And then it's got another resource dial, which I apparently didn't actually pull up. All right. Anyway. The professionalism is real today for me. I apologize for every mistake I've made so far. So it's got, it looks like about 18 clicks, running shot, invulnerable, precision strike coming off the top. It goes for a while until you get to the 70 point where it loses any kind of movement powers. It jumps in and out of movement powers, but the only movement attacks it has are in the 140 are the 2 running shot at the top and the 2 hypersonics just before it drops to the 70 point dial. It's got 2 pilot abilities, one of them with a prerequisite of Avengers. Characters that are 50 points or more and have the Avengers keyword is part of the prerequisite. Quinjet can use Sidestep and the Avengers team ability. The other prerequisite is Shield, Character. It's a character that has 50 points or more, has a shield keyword, and the Quinjet has an additional target and can use the shield team ability. It can carry 4 passengers, and Quinjet can occupy multiple squares of elevation and can't be targeted by mind control. When it's dealt penetrating damage, it can still be reduced. It's got an autopilot ability as the rest of them, so if it does makes an attack that deals damage, it takes 1 unavoidable damage. It counts as 3 characters for determining how many ID cards can be added to your force. And then it's got a special damage power, which comes in the first 3 clicks of the 140-point dial. Quinjet can use Defend, give Quinjet a free action, and choose an adjacent friendly character. That character can use Outwit until your next turn. Whew! Does a lot.
Yeah.
And then it comes in with a resource dial that moves when you use ID cards and increases, when you remove an ID card from the game using its Call and Help ability, make roll a d6 and return this resources dial clockwise that many times. When Quinjet clears action tokens or takes damage from an opposing character's attack, after action resolve, you may turn this dial once clockwise. Give the Quinjet a free action. Choose an ID character on your sideline of equal or less points than the resource dial indicates. Place that ID character on the map adjacent to Quinjet. Remove that ID card from the game and then roll a d6. During the resource, turn the resource dial to a click number matching the result. That character is no longer an ID character, can ignore pushing damage, and is returned to your sideline when it takes damage. So kind of like the number 3 on the round table is how that functions. All right. So that said, let's go back to the stats on this thing, because I think that resource style is cool, and I think it could excel a little bit past the round table as far as the resource is concerned. But this is where it's going to make or break it, and it's the 140 versus the 70-point dial. So let's start with Jason. Jason, having taken a quick look here, what do you see? Where do you see this thing? Do you think this thing is going to make noise in the game, in the metagame, rather?
Not in the metagame. The 140 points for the movement attack is expensive. It would have to be your main attacker at that point. And at 70 points, no movement attack at all. And mixed with it's just not. I don't think it's going to make a splash.
Okay. And now that was at the 140. Do you think 70 is going to make any noise, or?
No, not with no movement attack. I mean, it can be a transporter piece, but that's I guess for 7 clicks. I guess it can be a decent transporter, but you can get 25-point lockjaw with just about as much life for 25 points.
Yeah. Okay. Aaron.
I pseudo agree with Jason in that at 140 points, like the stats aren't like impressive or anything like that. However, it does count for 3 characters with for the ID card, right?
Right.
This guy Caleb played it today. He played the Jet and Jarvis, and he just had a whole mess of ID cards on his sideline that he called in Nick Fury, he called in the Hulk, when you look at it like that, you can call in a bunch of characters. It's very mobile because of the number of passengers it has. You can run the Quinjet at 70, you can run Jarvis at 40, that's 110. You can use a bunch of Ultron drones to be calling ID characters, and that doesn't count against your action for the turn also. Right. Since they'll have no action tokens. I don't know, I guess I could see something like that working, but it'd be very tricky and finessey to play.
Right. Yeah, and when you mentioned the Jarvis thing, one of the first things I had a conversation with a friend of mine about was how when you combine this thing with Jarvis, the way I look at this is you have to add the 15 points for the card, and then you have to add in a Jarvis because you're trying to maximize ID cards on this thing. And then whatever other characters you get on your team is where you're going to increase past that initial 6 ID cards, and then you can probably get up to 9, maybe even a dozen. And I already see the nightmare of trying to pull those figures out just to play the teams.
Yeah.
It bears weeping in my case because we have a lot of clicks to go through when it comes to picking and choosing your ID characters, because a lot of times too there's multiple choices. I was actually looking at War Machine and which War Machine I was going to use, because the new one's cool, but he's also 200 points, and my team couldn't call him in, but there's a 125-point one. There's also, I think, the 110-point Iron Man actually has James Rhodes as the keywords, or the real name from Invincible Iron Man, the rare cloaking one, I believe. So that said, oh sorry.
Real quick, Jarvis, he gets you 3 for free, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he gets you 3 for free. Yeah.
So I mean, okay, so I mean the Quinjet and Jarvis, the resource on the Quinjet, and 3 ID cards is only 130 points.
Yeah.
And then you get an additional 3 for free. So,
right.
I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah. It like you're saying, it's going to take, I think, finesse if you're going to use it, and it's going to take a type of player to be able to use it, because it also becomes your resource if you use it in that way, or it's also very hard to put a vehicle on a team with anything that assigns to the team, or you kind of have to look at it and say possibly as well as other options. I'm kind of yapping for no reason. So yeah, I guess that's our thoughts on the Quinjet. It's a cool looking little toy. Don't get me wrong. And I'm probably gonna give it a try. It's gonna fall into my test circulation for sure. Just try to make or break it once or twice, and then sit on a shelf, kind of like my Necron does right now.
I think out of all the storyline kits, it's going to be the most useful. Whereas you're never going to get a chance to see Dark Phoenix, Cyclops, or Necron out and about, just unless you're getting into a crazy point game like 400, 500, 600 points.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's great that they make them all playable at 300, but I don't think the 300-point options are valid in any of the current cases. I almost tried the Serpent with Alyosha Craven and Loki as a team, and every time I tried that, it wasn't happening.
The only thing I saw in the Serpent was now with Animal Man, because you can put him on a 200-point click and use him to call some of those crazy powers, but that's it, and that's a golden game now.
Yeah. All right, so next up, also talking about month 4 product, if you will, we have Kang the Conqueror, or Kang the less than conquering worthy. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of Kang because he works with Dr. Doom a lot, but that's all he gets from me. So Kang comes in with early dial phasing, 17 defense. He's got the Masters of Evil team ability and the Minions of Doom team ability. As far as the dial is concerned, what you see is what you get, powers-wise. So he's got phasing, psychic blast, running shot, and vulnerable, outwit, perplex. He's got a lot of powers, but they're just the basic versions of them. He does have one trait which is what sets him as a character that's worthy of this, I guess. Kang the Conqueror begins the game with the time bubble attached. When the time bubble is attached, Kang the Conqueror can use prob. Give Kang the Conqueror power action to place a time bubble in a square within range and line of fire as a special terrain marker. When the time bubble is on the map and Kang the Conqueror would take damage, you may instead place him in the square with the time bubble, deal him 1 unavoidable damage, and attach a time bubble to him. It comes in at 190, which is very hefty. So I'm going to let Aaron go first on this one. What do you think of Kang the Conqueror?
Yeah, I don't see myself playing this. It's not like something that I'm itching to play. Maybe in like a really large point game, I could see myself playing them. But with the dial just as it is, the time bubble's kind of cool. But it's not anything that's like, game-breakingly new. Even his range isn't that good. It's like 7.
Yeah.
If you look back, you can go get like the LE Kang from Supernova, which is Nathaniel Richards, and is like very comparable. So when you're comparing a figure from Supernova to the newest stuff, I mean the Nathaniel Richards from Supernova is phasing 12 attack, 8 range, energy explosion, 18 defense mastermind, and range combat expert for 167. So I'm not like really I don't really. Not a fan of this piece.
I almost feel like none of us want to say the words where it's like, you know what? I'd rather use a figure from Supernova over this figure that just came out. I think
I love.
none of, like
I
that
love the
hurt to
Nathaniel
say.
Richards. Yeah, I did, but I love the Nathaniel Richards actually. So I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah. All right, Jason. What's your take on Kang the Conqueror?
I can honestly say, even if I do win this piece, I'm never going to play him. He's, again, a lack of move and attack on that top click, and he's just really squishy. I mean, you get, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clicks for 190 points. There's a lot better for a lot less out there. Time Bubble's nifty, but nothing game breaking, not even close.
Yeah. In fact, I like when it comes to the Time Bubble, I look at that and say, well, Spiral does something like that, and I don't take damage for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You know what? The set, as far as the OP kit for like the winning prizes, not the giveaways, but the Graviton, this, what was the other one? High Evolutionary. And High Evolutionary sat a little higher than the other ones. Grandmaster, though, like I don't see myself using them in the hyper competitive level. And I guess I was almost able to say the same thing about the War Light ones, but I keep trying to use Larfleeze and stupid ideas, so I can't say that Larfleeze is not going to be an option for me one day. I might be that guy that plays Larfleeze and confuses everybody. But this, as far as these figures are concerned, they seem more based on the fun, bigger game. The way they're built. I wouldn't mind putting Kang at 190 points in a team that he's just going to fall into by accident at huge points, but going to Worlds and Nationals, I have to have found something absolutely nuts about this Kang to make it the thing I want to use. I'd rather use a Mortis over him as far as Kangs are concerned. Actually, I had a chance to use a Mortis a little while ago, and his probability control thing came into play quite a bit. So, yeah, Amber's calling me a jerk for it now, too. Oh, boy. All right. So, now as far as Age of Ultron is concerned, I have two fresh minds to poke at for this one. Wave 2, what do you guys think of Wave 2 versus Wave 1? Let's go with Jason first.
Putting me on the spot here.
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
I like Wave 1 better.
Okay.
Just because of Hercules, Black Panther, my playstyle is more, and Monica Chang. My playstyle is more of a, I'm going to get in your face, hit you really hard, and then see what you can do after that. So Hercules, Black Panther's great because it's difficult to target him back. The lack of TK in the second half of this is very cumbersome. But then again, I like the 6-arm Ultron better than Phalanx Ultron. But again, we're getting into high point stuff there.
Right.
So overall, I'd have to give it to Wave 1.
Aaron, your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm browsing through the set list for the Wave 2 figures, and it seems like you're more for Wave 2. You have more of the higher end figures, Thor, War Machine. So you're getting like all these bruisers, but not really like a good way to get them into battle or support them. Like you almost have to play a Wave 1 and a Wave 2 together if you want like a full cohesive team. So because of that, I feel like I can make a lot more like a more successful team out of a lot of smaller parts than I can out of like 1 or 2 bigger parts. So for me, Wave 2, I'm not overall impressed with it outside of the chases. The chases are amazing. So I mean, it's kind of blows, in that regards. But I guess super rare, the super rare Iron Man and the super rare Blue Marvel also kind of stand out as like if you pull them, you have like a higher chance of winning, in my opinion. because of the amount of move and attack they have. Like Thor's decent, but he starts off with like phasing, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just stuff like that makes me kind of cringe about Wave 2. Whereas Wave 1, you have a lot of really neat interactions, like turning She-Hulk large, and then with using Ant-Man, perplexing her up, then she can perplex herself because Ant-Man's right there, and then you can charge Flurry on somebody from like a distance that they did not see coming.
Yeah.
I think Wave 1's just way better.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I noticed myself is Wave 1 just it played with itself better, where Wave 2 just doesn't really play so much as it barrels in head first and says, "Are you dead? No? Okay, then I am."
Yeah.
That's basically how every game in Wave 2 has gone that I've given a try, because I've actually been playing in more than one venue for this event to see if I can change my chase pull ratio. Spoiler alert, I haven't been able to change my chase pull ratio. My super rare ratio has gone up, but ever since Fear itself, I'm, as far as the pulls and like what you're trying to get out of the game, it's just not coming to me. And I had War of Light was great because the power was in the uncommons, and that's why I won War of Light. But Age of Ultron seems built more like a standard set and not built with 100% sealed in mind, which which is why we get this weirdness out of the two waves. And then I found that the disparity as what's good and what's less good is actually in the higher end what's good, and lower end as to what's not so good. So, and it's definitely no Nick Fury as far as sealed is concerned. That's I got, again, having new bodies. Let's catch up with you guys. Did you guys get a chance to play any Nick Fury sealed when it did come out? Aaron, we'll start with you on this one.
No, I avoided it like the plague. We did the Battle Royale weekend. We waited for Nick Fury to come out, and I only played in the ones that were involving other sets because, to me, the value wasn't really there because there was like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff. I already have almost a complete set of Nick Fury. I'm just missing 2 figures, and then, but like I did watch the games that were playing with Nick Fury, and it was like, oh, Ray pulled Iron Man, and everybody else pulled like 45 to 65 point characters, and then Ray just murdered everybody. All right. So it was just not like, it didn't look like it was fun to play, especially when you have like 4-figure boosters for some of them, and like one guy pulled the Hulkbuster base and he's like, "Can I play it?" They're like, "Did you pull all the pieces in Super Rare Iron Man?" He's like, "No." Well then, no, you can't play it. It's like, it was just such booty.
Don't even start me on that base, man.
So yeah, I mean, I have not played it, but I intentionally did not play it. But I know that it's pretty much one of those sets where it's kind of like Teen Titans. Like Teen Titans didn't have like a lot of really powerful figures, and then you have like the one guy that was like, "Oh, I pulled Superboy," and then he just mopped everybody.
Like, well, you pulled Superboy Prime. Congratulations, you won. We're gonna put 2 guys in front of you throughout the day. Act like you're playing Heroclix with them, but they're not.
Right.
Oh man, Jason, did you have a chance to? Now, before I get into it, Aaron, when you say you're playing in battle royales, was that the usual battle royale rules of everything you pull is on the board? Let's go. Okay, so that kind of affected that to a degree, right?
Right. Yeah, and that was the other thing. Like I said, you got 4-figure boosters, and 4 of your figures are 50 points or whatever, and then the one guy pulls a. I mean, it doesn't even have to be Iron Man and Nick Fury. Can you imagine if somebody pulled Nick Fury in a battle royale? Like, that'd be awful.
That would be the worst. Not only would you have a target on your head, but nobody could do anything about that target that you have on your head because none of them are going to be able to hit it.
Yeah. It's just like, here's my little eyeballs, and let me just bounce them off your foreheads all day.
I've had several guys refer to them as the Watcher's testicles at me several times. It's like, yes, because he is teabagging you when you're playing against him.
Pretty much.
I've used him in one game, and I was like, whoa, I'm saving him for tournaments. I can't put Nick Fury in fun games anymore because it's not fun for you. He went toe to toe with a 500-point Hulkbuster. He stared him in the eye and said, "Come at me, bro."
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
See, he's good, but I think he's a little bit overhyped. I'd much rather have. I think the best super rare out of that set is Jane Foster Thor, without a question. I like her so much more.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, she's a great ID option. Only 145 points, not hard to call that in.
Yeah. I mean, it's very reasonable to get her in, even from a lot of point of view as far as the 300-point game is concerned. Oftentimes, you're finding half of your team is put into one character, and a lot of the rest of the team is backing that guy up or making him better. And Kyle Rayner is still a very common option as far as characters. I mean, even he could call her in, right?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, back to Nick Fury sealed. Man, I unfortunately played a 400-point Nick Fury sealed.
So you used both your packs.
Oh yeah, I think I didn't use like 2 characters. I mean, I was running Fitz, Simmons, Nomad, Paranormal Investigator, Golden Claw. Like,
jeez.
It was rough. I did surprisingly well. Agent Ward, a lot of the set has good synergy with each other, but I agree with the Battle Royal thing. I played a Battle Royal with Nick Fury. My team was non-prime Baron Blood, Jimmy Woo, Mankiller, the Hulkbuster arm that gives exploit weakness, and the Hulkbuster base. I was playing a 3-character team. Point-wise, I would have come in second place if someone didn't turn on me and wipe me out before an Iron Man wiped them out. I played my heart out in that game, and it was bad. So sealed set can be fun, lower point game, 300 points. I wouldn't go more than that.
Yeah.
Battle Royal, ugh. If you don't have to, I wouldn't.
Yeah. I've actually shared this story many times. For the first sealed that we did on the Tuesday of the release week, we did the normal 300 points, and there's 2 teams that had less than 4 characters, and they had 3 because they pulled, I think it was the Namor and something. One other team had something sizable, but the average beyond that was about 4. If I did the math, it came out to 4.5. So like between 4 and 5 figures on each team, which is huge games in 300 points. And then you got guys that have half the set has energy explosion too. And it's like, what are you doing to me?
I took down a Namor with my little shield team, and it was not easy. I played the crap out of Golden Claw. And not the way he was meant to be played. I was bunkering in, covering him with hoverbots, sidestepping the hoverbots out of the way, and just psychic blast with the enhancement from Fitz.
Yeah.
It was not.
Playing him as a glass cannon, I can imagine it's a little different.
Oh yeah, it was an uphill battle the entire way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll say it's definitely a good way to improve your skills in a sealed game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With this set, there's so much more to pay attention to. One of the great things about this set, as far as the sealed was concerned, is it taught you what Hydra and Shield did, which is, it takes these 60-point characters and then makes them better by being near each other. It teaches you that enhancement is probably one of the most useful powers in the game. Extra range from Shield is great. And you don't realize what you've got until it's obnoxiously taken away. Because Dum Dum Dugan, I used him in a sealed, and because of his ability where if 2 characters with the shield keyword are adjacent to somebody, they can use sidestep or willpower. They're not sidestep breaking away from me. Which is a common occurrence a lot of time, and they're also not using willpower. So even if they're indomitable, they're still going to have to take a hesitation and say, I don't kill this guy, I'm taking that push. And this character who's in front of me is 45 points. So, yeah, like Seal teaches you a lot as in this set as far as the bigger game and the macro game, if you will. Where most other sets is like, I pulled a big guy, I should do fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only big guy you can do that with in this set is the Hulk.
And even that depends on the player, man. I watched a 300-point Hulk and another 100 points of random stuff drop hard to just all these little shield guys.
Yeah. Well, they have the range, and eventually that slow burn is going to get to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you can break through that defense power where he just flat out ignores everything on a 5 or a 6, you can get there.
Yeah. Now, earlier in the show, Jason had dropped a mention of DragonCon, or not DragonCon. Rocktober, the big event coming up in October, run by the ROC. They're the culmination of all these Super Qs, regionals, et cetera, to kind of crown their big champion with big prizes in the mix. I believe cash is actually part of it as well. Now, are both you going, or Jason, are you just mainly training with Kenny to kind of bring him up?
I am, as of right now, no. I'd have to qualify both days, and it's just a big trip. That being said, I am going up to the Super Rock in New Hampshire this weekend. If I win, and I can see if I can finagle some rock points out of the team,
I got 80.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But anything past that, I'm just a training dummy for Kenny.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm on my team. I have Mike. Mike is the only guy from the Metal Lab who's actually going down there, and so I'm his training dummy. But my version of being the training dummy involves a ball gag, some whips and chains, and a torture rack. As the guy who got second at Canadian Nationals can attest to.
That sounds a lot more fun than my training dummy.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. There's scars afterwards.
Only the mental kind.
Yes, exactly. He's totally scarred. He fears me now in a regular tournament, and he'll see a team I'm playing like, no, that team is bad. There's something about that you're doing to me. Because even worse was the week before he had his backup team, his early qualifier team, to play in a fun tournament that we were having. And this is the week before Canadian Nationals. Everybody brought their team they're planning on bringing with the Canadian Nationals. I was comfortable with Police Brutality 2.0, so I didn't feel like I needed to bring it to this tournament. And I brought Kingpin, 2 Hand Ninjas, and the Prime Hobgoblin to make a hand team, and got second.
That Hobgoblin Prime's solid.
He was so good in that. And then what I missed when I was just saying Hand Ninjas and Kingpin, was they have Precision Strike on their first click, and Kingpin's enhancement gives you a bunch of powers if you have one of the powers that it gives. So his enhancement plus giving range combat expert plus I think he has Hydra Team ability too. It just combined to this nastiness.
Yeah, my first thought with Kingpin was always playing with Phantom X. Because Phantom X gets that range combat expert, and then he gets all these other ridiculous powers.
Yep. And, of course, the +1 from enhancement. Who can forget that? On top of all of that. Sorry. But, Aaron, you're planning on going to Rocktober as well?
No.
No?
No. It's a very expensive trip for me.
Yeah, you come from California.
Yeah, being from the West Coast. And it's not just that I'm from California, it's that I don't really live next to any major cities. So, like I talked to Howard and he's like, oh, you can fly out of LA for like $300. I'm like, yeah, but LA's 4 hours away from me. Yeah.
4-hour drive in order to get to the airport.
Yeah, and then I have to pay to park my car for a weekend or whatever. But no, I could probably make the trip. I I don't think it's like financially a wise decision for me. Although I would like to go, I am automatically qualified, so.
That regional that you won that got you on my radar other than your podcast was
So if Pat was still giving away cash for the 1K like he was every other time except for the one that I won, then yeah, I would have just used that money to pay for the trip. But no, I had early on to make the decision between going to Worlds and going to Rocktober. I could still go. I just don't feel like I want to sell all my entities and zombies and everything else just to pay for it, and then still have to, deal with the boss lady when I get home.
Yeah. While you were gone, guess what your kid did?
Exactly.
Sell that to get the plane ticket?
Yeah, two. I have two. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not out of the question, but it's not looking like a go right now. But Jason, if you win, you'll have 20 points. Another 100 points will get you straight into the finals.
That's what I'm.
Another 100. So I've got 80 points. We can work something out.
Okay. I still got to get through. Kenny's going up with me to New Hampshire. I still got to get through him.
That guy, nothing.
I don't know what it is with him. He's got some kind of mutant superpower where I can play a tournament straight through as perfect as I can, and then as soon as I get to him, I'm like, my brain just shuts down. I become like just brain dead, and I play like a dirty sock.
He's leech.
Dude, it's bad.
He's leech. Yeah, he's leech to you. Your powers are all gone, and he's just leech. Like,
it's bad. Even teams I know, like, I play tested against him with my Cap Banshee team that I took to Canada, and it did well against everyone else I played against. I mean, I play tested against everything I could have, but whenever he brought it up, it was just, okay, you win. Good job. Like, it's bad.
I think everybody has that one player who is their kryptonite. Locally, there's this one guy, his name is Aubrey, and oftentimes he catches me on my off days, but even when he catches me on my on days, something happens in a game against him, and it's just like, that shouldn't have happened that way. What is this guy doing to me that I shouldn't call him a kid. The guy, he's actually like almost 40 now. He's got the looks of somebody who's about mid 20s to early 30s, but he's actually pretty close to his early 40s. But he's always had my number until it comes to actually trying something in a practice area. Like we practice meta games sometimes, and he was like, I want to see what your meta team does because I don't think it's that good. And then I'll crush him 4 games in a row, and he'll be like, okay. So
I practiced with Kenny, but this is my first time going to Worlds. This is my first competitive year at all. I mean, you can ask any of Team Pushin. I was horrendous starting out, just bad, and I had been playing for years. I play tested with Kenny a couple days before Worlds, and I was so demoralized by how I played against him that I almost did not make the trip. I was almost just like, you guys have fun. I'll see you in a week. It was rough.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes just little things will get into your head. It happened to me in Canadian Nationals right after the computer glitch took me out of the top 8 of that turn, that first round, and it's just like, but my team is good, right? And then I ended up not using it on day 2, and I was like, why didn't I do that? What's wrong with me? And sometimes getting in your own head is just as bad as losing a game.
Oh yeah.
You can have I've even had wins where it's like, should I have won that? That didn't feel right, and then it kind of ruined me for the next game, right? I refer to that as my game against my first round, first year Canadian Nationals. Oh man, I forgot his name already. Patrick's buddy, Kevin. Kevin approves. There it is. Oh man.
Oh.
It is hot in here. Jeez.
Kevin's my kryptonite. I can't beat Kevin. I always make one stupid decision, or like he makes like 3 really super crucial rolls, and it's like, I'm 0 for against Kevin right now. I did beat him once, but it was a fun game because I brought an illegal team and got DQ'd, but we played anyways. But yeah, I can't beat Kevin, dude. I don't know what it is. I can't beat that guy.
Well, it's funny because you're talking about how he had like certain decisions he made that were slightly better than yours. In fact, when he came down here to the Windsor Super Qualifier, he was stuck against the same opponent and the same situation that I was in his game, where he had his zombie Super Scroll on the last click, and he had a token for Proxima on the zombie, and I chose the Invincible and tried to roll my way through it, and I lost the zombie Super Scroll. He chose not to take the Invincible and hoped that the Proxima roll would go against him, and he got that through on Tom, and I was like, dude, why did... Then I look at it and I say, you know what, with my luck though, I would try to do that and be like, I'm being clever, it worked for Kev, why did you roll the 3?
That's a tough decision. I mean, and there's a lot of things to play in Super Scroll that, I mean, you have to make the right decisions or you will lose. I mean, like in that situation, you probably could have chose Region and Prob. Let me try and Region and Prob, and for all you know, you could have rolled a 6, got your stuff back, and then they just pop you for 6 on your next turn and you die. So
because you chose Region as your defense power.
Right, exactly. I mean, what are you gonna do? You can't win everything, man.
Yeah. Sometimes decisions like that you'll go and be like, was that the right decision? I look back and I say that was the right decision because based on the odds of the dice roll, I should have been able to keep the zombie Super Scroll alive, but I'm amazing at rolling ones, so
yeah.
I think it's a Jason thing, to be honest. Because
I mean, I saw I think the Rock Up in the Catskills first and second place teams were both different variations of Zombie Super Scroll. One of them was the same variation that I was playing with, Engineer, and the Bat Cycle, and the other one was Rainbow Raider Maria Hill that Kenny played. Kenny took a chance, didn't call a defense power, and it was actually another member of Team Pushing, Tim. He TK'd Super Scroll up with an Ultra Heavy, tried to get that one shot, and Kenny hit the scroll roll, and there it goes.
Yeah. You know what, I think if it comes down to any kind of shape change, if somebody makes a shape change with that scroll roll, that's the one that upsets me. It's like, you needed a 6.
I beat Matt Esbrook like that. He came out to Majestics, the regional, and he went all in with Shatterstar on my Super Scroll, and I hit, he's gonna charge Flurry, and I just rolled the scrolls and hit the first one, so you couldn't even do either attack on me. I was like, sorry. Like, okay, Shatterstar's dead. I'll take Shatterstar back. Yeah, okay.
Thanks for the Shatterstar. Yeah. Much appreciated. All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of move it into the fan questions now, and we're gonna answer them the best that we can, and then we'll pretty much call it a night. Sound good?
Sure.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. So first up, I got 2 questions here from Robert Owens. Robert asks, I'm still fairly a new player, but I'm enjoying the game. Really looking forward to Superman Wonder Woman set. Are you hoping this new set will be able to shake things up in the competitive scene? Well, I'm hoping that for any set. I love a good shaking up of the meta game. I don't, when things stay the same for too long, it gets a little dry, and you sit there trying to figure out, can I beat this meta game? So every time a new set comes out, I want to see what's new, what's the new figure to beat, what's the figure that beats something that's old, so that I don't have to worry about the old stuff anymore. that's kind of the anticipation of a new set. So yeah, always looking for that. Aaron, you want to carry on that or?
No, I think you pretty much said it. I do think like it's important to note, a lot of times people are like, oh, this new figure beats this old figure. I need to play this new figure, and it's like, no, you need to play what beats that because everybody else is going to play the new figure. So it's one of those things where you're hedging your bets on your matchups.
Well, I think we talked about it with the Union Jack Prime in the past, where it's like, yeah, okay, he does a thing, but how many other things are going to beat him, even though you're playing for that other thing, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you want to carry on from that there, Jay?
I mean, Union Jack Prime is, I think, going to deter maybe-ish zombie team bases, and like Hulk teams, but who's playing? Why are you going to plan for those two teams that are both are beatable by other things that are far better than Union Jack? He's not that easy. He's not that difficult to one shot and get off the map, but I think he's way overhyped in the set. But overall, I love seeing a new set and just picking through it, sitting in my room, shuffling through cards for a day or two, and just what do I like? What do I think is gonna shake things up? And in the Nick Fury set, I really think it's gonna be Thor.
Okay. Now I want to kind of carry on that question because something he didn't bring up directly, and I want to. There's going to be Colossals in this. Do you think any of these Colossals are going to do anything in the game, or do you think they'll be able, like, for instance, are we going to have a Colossal like the Watcher who's going to fit into a team, or do you think that these Colossals have a chance, or are they just going to be pretty shelf pieces? And Jay, you seem to be all up on that.
Oh, man, I'll be honest. I love Colossals. They normally play to my style, big and beat stick. I really hope there's something lower cost because we haven't really seen, like, we had some of the DC ones, but my first set was Giant Size X-Men, and man, I love playing that. Who was it? Not a pop Nemesis with the cannon that hit everyone and then healed him back up. I love that kind of stuff. If nothing else, for a 1,000-point bloodbath game where I just get to run hog wild on someone with it.
Yeah. Aaron?
Yeah, I don't typically play Colossals unless it's like a large point game, and usually then I only play Galactus because it's Galactus, and I'm a fan of like the Marvel cosmic stuff. That being said, I don't know enough about the characters that are going to be in the set. I would imagine that the Superman Batman robot, the Toyman toy, could have some neat stuff in it, especially if it plays with the Slosh Toyman. That'd be really neat, but I don't think it's the same Toyman that built it.
No,
right?
It's a different Toyman.
Yeah. It's a Hero or whatever is the one that builds it, or whatever his name is. So yeah, I mean, in the past, Colossals have been more for large point games with a few things that can fit, like Dormammu, the Watcher, and then you have like Master Mold has a 200-point dial, stuff like that. So I personally I don't think that they'll be big, but I mean without seeing a dial, it's hard to say. And I don't have enough reference to the characters. I guess one's like a giant ape, like King Kong or something. I don't know.
Titano, he's like a kryptonite ape.
Okay. So don't play Superman. I don't know.
You know what? That's just been my personal philosophy ever since the game came out. It's like, Superman's always too many points. Don't play Superman.
Right. Well, yeah, sort of.
Yeah. For me, it's Camo or bust. If I don't see Camo soon, I'm not too hyped about these Colossals.
I'm just excited for new Colossals, even if they are just shelf pieces.
Yeah. That's the thing. I do like the way that they look. I don't mind having them on the shelf. And then I do have a regular big game at my place that does happen. So every so often I'll be the guy in charge of 1,200 points of figures or 1,800 points of figures, and let's get the new Colossals out.
Yep, we do a bloodbath every, like, probably twice a year, and it's Kenny always tells us no resources, so right away I'm like, okay, Black Witch and Split Lip, Wonder Girl's lasso, Anger's hammer, let's beat you up and not take any damage.
Yep. And Robert Owens also asks here, has anyone played with the completed Hulkbuster at any point value? I just managed to bring it all together with the super rare Iron Man, and I'm looking for some tips before I start playing with it. I've had a chance to play with it at the 200 point value. I have seen it played at the 500 point value, and I want to like it better, to be honest. It's very cool looking, very neat to play, but for one, it gets a big target on its head, and there's not a lot that it can do to deal with being targeted constantly. So my best tip is to be really good with really big figures. Jason might actually be able to get better strategies out on that one.
I am a fan of anything Hulk related, and Colossals, all that. I like it. I have actually completed 2 already just because of Battle Royal weekend, and I'm not crazy about it at any point value. It's okay, but even iffy for me in a bloodbath. It's just not. I don't see it as something that's gonna get played for me. I'll try it once at 500 just because I have to, and then it'll sit on my shelf and collect dust.
Yeah. All right, Aaron.
Yeah, I think like everybody here is kind of like, no, I'm not playing that. They don't want to play that 200 points. They don't want to play with Iron Man. I mean, I'm personally not going to play it. I haven't completed, but I'm not going to play it. Like I said, it's not my place. I don't really like one-man armies. You know, I've played them, but I don't particularly care for them. So I'd rather play, you know, a bunch of smaller stuff. So yeah, I'll probably never play it.
So I guess if we were to give you some direct strategies, try it once, and when it lets you down, don't feel bad. We kind of saw it coming.
Yeah.
I find one of the biggest weaknesses it has outside of the 500 point dial is that it has a ton of charge and 8 range. Whereas if you play it at 500, it does have running shot and pulse wave, which is nice, but you got to get within 4, and you're getting targeted now. And he doesn't deal with being hit as well as something at that point value really should be.
I mean, even on the 200 and 300 point, he doesn't have move and attack. He's got that one. He's got one click of charge quake on both of them, and then he's all at 300 points. He's all flurry until he gets to the 200 point. Then he's one click of flurry and 4 clicks of sidestep. Other than that, good luck.
Yeah, I mean he's outwittable. His values are not overly impressive. I don't know that I can really offer sound advice in playing this. Like, to be honest,
try, just try.
Have fun. Have fun is what I'd say. Is have fun.
If you want to give him his best go, you're going to have to play him, I think, at 500 points with a Phoenix Force and Black Talon just to give him some mobility, calling that Namor Shard, and pray for the best.
Yeah. So we hope we helped, even though it wasn't 100% positive. Yeah. So next up, Chris Stockhouse. He's a regular question asker, if you will. I pulled the Moon Knight ID card Saturday. Should I keep it? The inspiration power is pretty neat, but I don't know when we will see a new Mark Spector again, let alone a good one I would want to summon. Yeah, there's a couple ID cards like this right now. It's that one, the new Moon Knight one, and we just got that Ares from the con, which I thought we were going to see a new Ares in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I turned out to be very, very incorrect about that. So, yeah. Amber did just chime in there. We might see a DC Ares in the Superman Wonder Woman set that we can use with the Ares ID. But as far as a Moon Knight's concerned, we may be waiting for a monthly OP kit to bring him out. So yeah, you're gonna be sitting on the Moon Knight one definitely for a while. Expect to use it in Golden Age for sure. Yeah. Did you guys want to add to that or?
I don't know. I'm not really a fan of telling somebody whether or not to keep their stuff. If you're gonna play it, or you think maybe one day you want to play, I mean, there's some really awesome Golden Age Moon Knights. If you guys ever play Golden Age, why not? But if it's not of value to you and you'd rather use something that you can get for it, even if it's $5, I don't know. That's your choice, man. I'm not a fan of that kind of question.
Yeah. Jason, your thoughts?
If I had to give advice competitively, I wouldn't really. I probably wouldn't hold on to it, just because you're not going to see a playable Moon Knight for at least what? We've got 2 DC sets coming out, then a Marvel, so it's going to be a while to go. Competitive-wise, I probably wouldn't hold on to it. I'm still shoehorned a little bit into that collector category where I just want to have all the ID cards to say I have all the ID cards. I'm holding on to mine, but past that, meh.
Yeah, and I'm gonna as a collector myself, I agree with that. I have it. I'm gonna want it. One of the things that hurts the most about the Moonlight and not having a modern age Moon Knight right now is that it's one of the rare ID cards.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you can get you should be able to expect to be able to get a decent ID card in exchange for it, and there's quite a few really good ones in the rare slot in this set. Look no further than the Red Hulk. You have Bucky, Venom, Spider-Woman. All are really good options, and a good portion of them are in this set. And if not the Red Hulk, you can get at least the Fast Forces one, very easily obtained. Especially because I just recently found out that Deadpool is apparently just gone, and where if you look for it online, you're going to be paying like $35 a pack for it or something. Yeah. So, that I hope that it's really hard to tell you to trade your stuff, but again, if you're strictly stuck on playing it and you strictly play modern, you might be waiting a little while before you get a chance to touch it. Hopefully the monthly OP kits help you out on that. And incidentally, talking about the trading market, McConnell Lamar asks, how do you guys feel about Heroclix trading and selling? I've recently started using Facebook groups, which seem to be pretty good so far, but trading and buying on the realms has really dried up for me. So I guess what he's asking is, how do you trade? What are your methodologies? How are you careful about it? Jay, you want to take the lead on this one?
I've used a couple of the different trading pages on Facebook, and really to good avail. I've nothing really bad to say about them. That being said, I have scrolled through and read some of the problems that some of the people have had, and it seems to me like it's certain people, and there's enough feedback on the page itself, and there are pages specifically for feedback for those sites or for those pages. You just have to be smart. If you have a problem, take it up with an admin right away. And if they are worth trading with and they're not trying to get one over on you, you can always do a rep check. When I started on the page, I got asked for a few rep checks until I got a good reputation, and then I changed my name on Facebook for job stuff, and it came up again where people were like, oh, I don't know this person, so started getting rep checks again. And if you know people on there, that'll vouch for you. You're good. If they're good, people will vouch for them. No one that I have traded with or done business with on there has been bad, but people are people. You just got to be careful and use your brain more or less.
Yeah. Aaron?
Yeah, a lot of what Jason said is pretty true. I mean, I'm not in the same. I don't find myself in the same boat as he does, because I've been around for a long time. I mean, I've been on HC Realms since 2004. I only have like 86 on the iTrader, but I've done probably 200 trades on HC Realms. I've traded quite a bit in the Facebook group. I would say I prefer the Facebook group trade because I'm kind of the same way. I don't really mess around with HC Realms anymore as far as the trading goes, because it's not very direct. Whereas with Facebook groups, you have Facebook Messenger, which you can do on your phone. You get that instant gratification, like, hey, is this deal done? Yeah, all right, cool. I'll mail it out tomorrow or whatever.
Yep.
So I think, I think if you're smart, I mean, I always go by the golden rule. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And that's thinking about that is a good way to not get burned. Trade with reputable traders. Even then, sometimes stuff goes wrong. I recently had an experience with a very reputable trader, but apparently they had a lot of other stuff. I'm not gonna bomb on the guy, whoever it is, but but they did make it right. And like Jason said, if you got something going on, get the admins involved, and they'll do their best to help out.
Yeah.
And one thing I've seen, like in the midst of trades, I've had things come up in life. It's life, whatever. I've had things come up on the other end. Just be honest with the people. Be like, hey, listen, got sidetracked. Don't communicate. Communication is key with these things. Don't leave someone go thinking, oh, this guy took my stuff and is on his way out of the country. Like, communicate, right. And if it was something on your end, do something small. Like, I had a guy was stuff happened in life, and he was a little late getting things shipped. He fell out of contact for like a week or two. He sent me a couple little extra things just to make it right. I've done it myself. So it's just be courteous, and just remember life happens sometimes.
Yeah. Myself, most of my trading is done locally. I'd say 90 to 99% of my trading is done locally, and I will purchase from people online. And when it comes to that, I can't stress enough, if you're using PayPal, don't let them try to tell you to sell it send it as a friend. That's right there is a sign that somebody's about to take you for it, because PayPal is a system where you can challenge or call back the money if it's sent as a payment to somebody who's not as a family or friend. If you send it as family or friend, like, well, your friend screwed you, sorry, right? So PayPal can have your back on that as well. And just make sure you're in constant communication, talk to the people on a regular basis. And I mean, again, when it comes to that, I don't deal with the groups myself a lot. It's no particular reason. A lot of times I don't have the figures people are looking for, so I don't try to get myself into the trades, or I found something locally by the time something comes up available. So, and shipping from Canada is probably the worst, because we have terrible shipping.
I'll say I've been burned, I think, 3 times trading, and twice was from Canada. Like I'm just like, really. So yeah, I try not to trade international personally, but I've done it.
One time I took a risk sending. I think I shipped to Brazil, and it was something. I think it was an Old Man Logan where I had 3 of them and I just couldn't move them. So I was like, listen, if you pay for shipping and you pay for everything, shipping, PayPal fees, everything, customs, I'll give it a shot. And it worked out. He probably got an Old Man Logan for like $80-$90 like 4 or 5 months ago, but that's on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what we paid for it about the time it came out. And then a week later it dropped in half. Yeah. Me and Amber had the worst luck getting her the Wolverines. Let's just say that.
Well, if she wants one, I think I still have 2 more.
I think we're good on all Wolverines at this point again.
That's what she gets for liking Wolverine.
Exactly. It's becoming worse and worse to be a fan of Wolverine right now. The Vampire Wolverine, I traded a Chase Thor from Avengers Assemble, the King Thor, in order to get one, and I was like, okay, it's not too bad, right? I can get another King Thor. I got my King Thor like 3 weeks ago. Like, she tells me I told you not to make the trade, but then for the next 3 months I've been like, really want that Vampire Wolverine. It's a vicious circle. She claims to not be like that. I'm of course puppeting everything she's saying to try to block the fact that I'm currently looking through the YouTube comments right now.
Well, tell Amber I said hi.
Jason says hi, Amber. She says hi. Last question from the YouTube channel, unless somebody adds one at the last second. Don Prophet asks, have any of you had the chance to play the Weird yet? And if so, what did you think? Well, I have played the Weird, and his name is absolutely correct. He is weird. The dial is weird, the way he plays is weird, the way he moves is weird, and it was a riot to play with him. I had a ton of fun using him. I knew I wasn't going to win, but he did really well, and it's the only thing I found really irking me about him is the fluctuation in his stats, where he has high damage where he should be like regenning. It's like, why now? But yeah, I've never seen a more appropriately named character. Jason, have you had a chance to try out the Weird yet?
If you couldn't tell by my face, I'm actually looking at him for the first time right now. And wow, this is, like you said, Weird is the best way to describe this. I have not played him. I won a couple. I won one, sold it immediately, and I passed on him in Battle Royals at Worlds 4 or 5 times for ID cards. If you want to wait 1 second, I actually have a friend here who is giving me like mad scientist eyes about the Weird if you want me to put him on for a minute. Because I think he has played the Weird.
Haven't played him yet.
Hang on, let me put him on for a minute.
All right.
Brian Galley, one of our new members of Team Pushing.
All right. In the meantime, Aaron, have you had a chance to try out the Weird?
No, he's one of those. Hi, Brian. He's one of those guys where I'm like, yeah, that's too much text. I'll figure it out when I play against it. Like, but no, I have seen it played. Obviously, for my show, we did go over what he does. He's really unique. I know I believe at the Newark ROC in California, he was he plays like 12th. Somebody plays 12th with the Weird, something like that. So he's definitely got some meta implications, but is very you gotta be really skilled, I think, to play with them.
It's like very patient.
He's a bit tricky. The thing I really like about him is that free action, free phasing thing he gives to a adjacent friendly character. I feel like there are some nifty little tricks he can pull with that. Use the red battery to send people phasing out, poison. If you go Golden Age, there's that one Poison Ivy leaves plant tokens behind. The ability to bop her around the map out of a plant token, move a couple squares, come back, then have her walk out and start seeding the map out, poison. He's an interesting piece. I haven't been able to really work out how to abuse him yet, but I feel like there's a good deal of potential there.
Yeah, and like you're saying, that free movement thing can go a long way. Like I think after 2, you've moved 8 squares.
Yeah.
And that was free, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got pulse wave all over the place. He's got high damage in really awkward places. I think is that I got my eye got caught on that 15 defense click on his third click. That click is just frustrating to see.
The start click, I mean, you run blind down, you get him off that right away. It's
yeah.
I think the thing is with him, he's 140 points and a lot of wording, and like it's almost like that's too many points for me to worry about reading that much text. Like I'm just not gonna do it for 140. If it was like 60 points, I'd probably read it. But
They costed him per word, it seems.
yeah,
Tim Hunter too. I was looking at with him. So,
Oh yeah, that's
copies the specials. Weird the free move phasing. Weird's flying, carries Tim, and then can potentially toss Tim out again. Again, not entirely sure what to do with that. I come back to the red battery a lot with the Weird.
yeah. Well, because you can get in there and get that penetrating poison going. That 9 attack and 5 damage click is the most frustrating thing in the world to see, though. It's like, why is that a thing? I need all the perplex and all the prob stat.
well, yeah. And then you look at his next click at 11 and 2.
Yeah. 11 and 2 with close combat expert, but still close combat expert. And then it has steal energy on that click. So you use that close combat expert, steal energy, you're back to 9 attack and 5 damage. This is a character who trolls himself, indeed. So, Brian, thank you for your input, adding in there.
I'll plus it back to Jason.
We're actually just kind of wrapping it up now, so once Jason is there, I can actually say my goodbyes to him. All right. So, that said, I want to thank my special last-second guests for listening to me at the beginning of the turn when I used my ID card. Aaron, thank you very much for joining us. Take a second to tell everybody about your show.
Yeah, I actually missed this week for my show. I was at a wedding yesterday, but we're 2 clicks from KO. Spelled out everything, just how it sounds. TWOCLICKS from FRONKO. We're on Podbean, iTunes, whatever Android's equivalent of iTunes is.
Podcast Republic, I think that is.
Podcast Republic. And yeah, you can email us 2clicksfromko@gmail.com. Yeah, we do casual and Metaclicks. My co-host Brandon is more just a casual player. Very good player, but just plays casually. I play more of the meta stuff, if you didn't know that already. And yeah, we just have fun. We do weekly shows. I think right now Jason and Amber are probably the only people that put out more content than we do, as far as the shows go. So yeah, give it a listen if you got time.
Yeah, I put in a link in the description to link to his Podbean site if you want to check it out. Jason, thank you for joining us. You want to throw out any shout-outs while you're here?
Highlander Games and Comics, new home store, only open a couple years, great home store. I mean, all of Team Pushin have brought me. If you talk to any of them, like I said, I was terrible when I started, and I've had a pretty good come-out year, placing a couple of rocks and Canadian Nationals, making top 8 and stuff. So huge shout-out to them. Just a good group of guys that we all push each other to be the best that we can be and trying to find the meta rather than just kind of go along with it.
All right. So once again, guys, thank you very much for joining me. And don't forget, guys, we are brought to you by HC Realms. Check them out. Check out their shop at realmsgaming.com. Use the coupon code Mary to get yourself 10% off of your purchase. There's some really cool stuff. Heroclix related T-shirts, maps from the ROCs in the paper format, not in the cool neoprene format, as well. Check out our Patreon if you want to support us directly, patreon.com/marriedwithclicks, and check out all the details on that. We are running our pilot program very shortly as we are starting to come up with some of the filming is going to start for that soon. So you get we're going to get a glimpse soon of the shows that we plan on funding with the Patreon if that can get off the ground. So in the meantime, guys, thank you very much for joining us this week. And remember, guys, practice makes your team better. Thanks, guys, for joining us.